Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Wednesday, May 15th, 2013. It's currently 8:30 a.m. We are certainly much warmer than what we were yesterday, where temperatures were in the lower to mid 30s, a few lower 40s. This morning, though, we're in the mid 40s over the northern interior and upper 40s to mid 50s along the coast. In the Philadelphia metro, we're already in the upper 50s and warming up nicely. For highs today, well, looking for upper 60s to lower 70s over much of the region, possibly a few mid 70s in the Delaware River Valley, and mid to upper 60s right along the south shore of Long Island. We're also going to see a threat for a few scattered showers. As you can see, it's pretty overcast as a warm front is approaching. You can see winds starting to veer to the southwest over portions of southwestern and western Pennsylvania and also portions of Virginia as that warm front approaches. So it's definitely a day of transition where we're exiting the cool, dry weather pattern that we were in and moving into a more warm yet active weather pattern over the next several days. So on the infrared satellite picture, you can see our warm front right here. Now what's happening is that this low pressure system will continue to scoot off towards central Quebec. You can see the cloud cover here ahead of this warm front, should I say, dropping southeast from the Great Lakes towards the northern mid-Atlantic, right along this warm front. Now, there is a potential for an extremely isolated severe thunderstorm right along this warm front, especially over southeastern Pennsylvania to the west of Philadelphia. But I really don't expect much in the way of significant thunderstorm action in this weather pattern. What we will be watching, though, is as this warm front is lifting north, we'll have a little bit more of a break in the cloud cover later on this afternoon, this evening. That could enhance a shower or two, leading to a brief heavy downpour. Again, this isn't a washout, more of a nuisance, and at the very least, it'll feel warmer this afternoon with temperatures pushing into the 70s. Now, here we are on the radar. You can see the showers here developing over western and central Pennsylvania and also along the eastern Great Lakes, dropping southeast. And you can see they're pretty scattered in nature. So again, this isn't a washout for today, but more of a nuisance. Shower here and there, possibly a heavy downpour here and there, moving from southwest to northeast through the coastal plain. So again, not a washout, but more of a nuisance with these showers. Now I want to show the water vapor satellite picture because this is pretty cool. You can see our ridge starting to take shape here. And what's happening is that this ridge is going to build and dominate much of the eastern United States as we move on through the next 7 days. However, as you can see, we have several disturbances here that we have to rectify and get rid of. These disturbances are going to weaken, but they'll also be capable of producing an isolated to widely scattered shower each day. Most locations will remain dry. However, where these disturbances move through, especially at the mid-levels, that's where you'll see an isolated shower or thunderstorm or widely scattered shower or thunderstorm over the next several days. Best potential will likely be away from the coast where instability will be the greatest. So if you're in eastern Pennsylvania, western and central New Jersey, possibly even portions of Connecticut, especially northwestern Connecticut, the Hudson River Valley, could see a few showers or thunderstorms in the afternoon as these disturbances pass by because the surface will be warming into the mid 70s along the coast, upper 70s to lower 80s away from the coast, and then you get one of those little pockets of cold air like what's under here, and that destabilizes the atmosphere and produces a thunderstorm. So that's what we're going to be watching over the next several days. Now here's the European model guidance from the Penn State EWOL website. Again, for this evening, our upper level trough starts to shift off of the coast. Our warm front drives off the coast and into New England. Our cold front never really makes it through. It just kind of collapses here over portions of the Great Lakes. And you can see more of a zonal pattern here, basically from the Rockies all the way to the East Coast. That's why, by the way, with the Chinook wind, why temperatures warmed up so dramatically over the northern plains. You had temperatures in the 90s and ice on the lakes. Pretty impressive and rare, but it can happen, especially in this type of setup. By the time we get into tomorrow, the trough is lifting into the Canadian Maritimes and rapidly weakening. Our ridge starts to take shape. Here's that disturbance that's sitting over the Gulf Coast, lifting northeast towards the Ohio River Valley. For tomorrow, again, a threat for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, but otherwise dry conditions can be expected with temperatures rebounding nicely into the upper 60s to lower 70s along the coast, mid to upper 70s, possibly a few 80s away from the coast, especially in the Delaware River Valley. By Friday, high pressure is in full control. Again, can't rule out an isolated shower or thunderstorm with a few rogue disturbances, but you can see our ridge clearly starting to take shape here. Temperatures along the coast, lower to mid 70s, away from the coast, upper 70s to lower 80s. And as we move on through Saturday and Sunday, you can see that ridge really starting to take shape. Again, an isolated shower or thunderstorm is possible, but our temperatures remain very warm and very comfortable with a nice southwesterly flow taking shape throughout much of the atmosphere. We could see a little bit more of a northerly wind at the surface with a weak backdoor cold front, especially over Connecticut. So again, for temperatures on Saturday and Sunday, upper 60s to lower 70s along the coast, mid 70s to lower 80s away from the coast. Basically, the way the pattern's going to shape up is that if you are in Long Island, look for temperatures mostly in the upper 60s to lower 70s. New York City Metro, the further you get away from the water, the warmer it'll get. So look for mid to upper 70s. And then in the Philadelphia Metro, especially around the Delaware River Valley, look for upper 70s to lower 80s. And a wonderful weekend on the way with generally dry conditions, but again, I can't rule out completely an isolated shower or thunderstorm. And that pattern continues on to early next week with a powerful ridge setting up over the eastern United States. Very warm conditions with a nice southwesterly flow at the surface, mid-levels, and upper levels, transporting plenty of warm air. Monday and Tuesday could actually feature temperatures in the lower to mid 70s on the coast, upper 60s possibly on the south shore of Long Island, and upper 70s to mid 80s away from the coast in the Delaware River Valley. And also an outside shot of a shower or thunderstorm. Now, one thing we're going to have to watch out for next week, you see this starting to cut off. This is another upper level low. And these pesky upper level lows, if they cut off, let's say around the Ohio River Valley, or if it drops down towards the Tennessee River Valley, that would transport plenty of moisture, tropical moisture, into the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. So that would translate to warm temperatures, mid to upper 70s, but also the potential for plenty of showers and thunderstorms, and those showers could produce very heavy downpours. So the potential is there for a rather wet pattern for next week. Warm, but possibly very wet. Something we're going to have to keep an eye on with this developing upper level low. As you can see, it's pretty much cut off from the rest of the 500 millibar pattern with a nice deep trough over the west coast. That is your forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.